My name is Audrey Bowman. I'm 32 years old, and I used to be the kind of employee people forgot existed until something broke. Not emotionally, operationally. The first real clue should have been the team hoodies. Everyone came into the office wearing matching navy pullovers with their names stitched neatly on the sleeves. Marketing had theirs. Operations had theirs. Even the interns who still asked where the bathrooms were had theirs. Mine didn't exist. No one said they forgot. No one looked uncomfortable. I walked into the kitchen, wearing my usual black cardigan and jeans, while 20 people laughed near the coffee machine, taking photos for LinkedIn. I wasn't in the picture. I was restocking printer paper. That pretty much summarized my role at Vantage Metrics. I worked in data integrity, which is corporate language for cleaning disasters other people create while pretending they created solutions afterward. When sales entered garbage records, I fixed them. When marketing broke automations, I repaired them. When leadership wanted reports by 8 a.m., I stayed late, making sure nobody noticed how messy everything really was. Useful. Invisible. Disposable. Most people thought I was an intern who never left. My manager, Leslie Voss, definitely encouraged that assumption. Leslie was one of those women who could turn every meeting into a performance. Bright smile. Designer blazers. Ring light during Zoom calls. The kind of person who described herself as a culture builder, while quietly taking credit for other people's work. She managed 12 people. I was number 11. Number 12 was David. David had been there 6 months. David already had weekly mentoring sessions. David had his own folder, called David Innovations. My folder was called MISC Archive. 3 months earlier, I built a workflow that cut 3 hours from weekly reporting. I made documentation, recorded training videos, mapped dependencies. In the meeting, Leslie smiled. "Great teamwork effort, Audrey." Then she turned toward David. "And amazing initiative spotting this opportunity." David gave me a tiny thumbs up under the table. I smiled back. Because I stopped fighting for recognition a long time ago. People always say hard work speaks for itself. That's a lie. Visibility speaks, volume speaks, confidence speaks. Quiet people just generate reports. Over time, I learned something important about invisibility. People stop editing themselves around you. One Thursday afternoon, I was loading paper into the copy room printer when I heard Leslie talking outside with someone from marketing. "She's not really a high-impact employee," Leslie said. My hands froze on the paper tray. "She's reliable, though," the other woman answered. "Exactly. She's infrastructure." A laugh, like office Wi-Fi. Nobody notices until it stops working. More laughter. I quietly loaded 500 sheets of paper. Infrastructure. Not person, not teammate. Infrastructure. That same afternoon, I noticed something odd inside our pipeline logs. A failed data process had been manually overwritten. No documentation, no audit trail, no approval chain. Just cleaned. That wasn't normal. I checked older records, then older ones, 3 more. Every single one linked back to projects Leslie managed. Interesting. So, I exported copies, saved screenshots, made notes, not because I planned revenge, because quiet people survive by keeping records. Monday morning arrived with 20 unread emails and an invite titled Emergency Team Sync. No agenda, no explanation, just fear disguised as productivity. We logged in at 9 sharp, 12 employees. 3 cameras on. Leslie was late. Again. When she finally joined, her microphone was already live. "I'm just saying if layoffs happen, Audrey's the obvious option." Silence. My stomach dropped. Her voice continued. "She mostly does cleanup work. You could outsource that. She's fine, but honestly, nobody would notice. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Even through muted microphones, I could feel everyone freeze. Then Leslie's camera turned on. Her smile appeared. Oh, tech issue. Small laugh. Anyway, good morning, everyone." And just like that, She started discussing quarterly targets, like she hadn't just publicly erased me. I said nothing, opened my notebook, started writing. After the meeting, messages appeared faster than usual. Mia, did she seriously say that? David, that was awful. Then another message from someone I barely knew. Hey, Audrey, we haven't worked together before, but that wasn't okay. 3 years invisible, and suddenly everyone could see me. Not because I changed, because Leslie accidentally showed them who she was. The next morning, I arrived to find sticky notes on my desk. You deserve better. Watch your back. She'll try to rewrite this. I threw them away. I didn't need reminders. I already knew what happened next. People like Leslie never apologize. They reposition. So that afternoon, I created a folder on my personal drive. I named it, If I Disappear. Then I started saving everything. Screenshots, audit logs, Slack threads, unauthorized edits, performance records, missing documentation, and finally the Zoom recording. Mia sent it through Signal with one message. For when the gaslighting starts, that night, everyone left early. I stayed. Because invisible employees always stay. As I walked past the conference room near 8 p.m., I heard Leslie talking behind the glass wall. She's getting attention now, Leslie whispered. Pause. That wasn't supposed to happen. I stopped moving. I thought she'd fold. If this becomes a problem, I'll bury her in process work. She's not a threat. I stood there in the dim hallway, listening, smiling quietly. Not a threat. Perfect. People stop looking for danger when they think they already understand it. The morning after Leslie's hot mic disaster, the office felt different. Not dramatically, quietly. People held eye contact longer. Slack messages came with extra punctuation. Even the receptionist smiled at me when I walked in. 3 years of invisibility, and suddenly everyone remembered I existed. There were 3 sticky notes on my desk. That wasn't okay. You deserve better. Watch your back. Different handwriting. Same message. Leslie's mask had slipped. Now everyone was waiting to see what happened next. People like Leslie don't apologize when they get caught. They reorganize. By noon, she was already trying. Audrey, quick check-in? She appeared beside my desk holding 2 coffees. One for her, one for optics. Just wanted to make sure you're feeling supported after yesterday. Supported? Interesting choice of word from someone who publicly nominated me for unemployment. I smiled politely. I'm okay. Good. She nodded too quickly. We all have learning moments. Learning moments. That was apparently what humiliation was called now. After she walked away, I opened the folder. If I Disappear. Then I started feeding it. Slack screenshots where my work got reassigned. Meeting notes where David received credit for projects I built. Audit logs showing manual edits from Leslie's account. Duplicate performance language copied across employee reviews. Then Mia sent me something through Signal. The meeting recording. 1 file. 16 megabytes. Enough to ruin someone's quarter. Her message only said, for when she starts rewriting history. I saved it. Meanwhile, Leslie entered what I privately called rehabilitation mode. Daily check-ins. Forced friendliness. Excessive smiling. She suddenly started using my name in meetings. Audrey, thoughts? Audrey, great point. Audrey, can you lead this? It almost would have worked if she hadn't spent years pretending I was office furniture. David changed too. He stopped talking as much. During meetings, he stared at his keyboard. One afternoon, he stopped beside my desk. For what it's worth, he said quietly, I didn't realize how much stuff you handled. I looked up. That's kind of the point. He looked embarrassed. Good. Embarrassment meant awareness. 3 days later, Leslie messaged me. Hey Audrey, we're thinking about workload optimization. Want to own a cross-departmental ops audit? Big visibility opportunity translation. Please disappear into spreadsheet prison. I replied, sounds good. Happy to help. Because sometimes the best traps are the ones people proudly build themselves. The files arrived that afternoon: access logs, vendor records, budget sheets, project timelines. 2 fiscal years of messy operational history dumped into my lap. It was beautiful. The first inconsistency took 12 minutes. A contractor paid monthly for engagement consulting. No meeting attendance. No deliverables. No internal communication. Inflated productivity reporting. Budget categories shifted after quarter close. Missing approval chains. By Friday afternoon, my folder had subfolders. Vendor issues, audit irregularities, credit misallocation, documentation gaps. I color-coded everything, because if chaos insists on existing, it should at least be organized. That was when Leslie started acting weird. Weirder. She invited me to lunches, added me to visibility initiatives, started calling me Odds. No one had ever called me Odds, not even my boyfriend Nathan. One morning, I came in and found a tiny succulent on my desk. A handwritten card sat beside it. "You bring growth wherever you go." Leslie, I stared at it, then laughed. So hard coffee almost came out my nose. I named the plant Damage Control. It sat beside my monitor, judging everyone. Late Thursday night, I stayed after 8. Most of the building was dark. As I walked past Conference Room B, I heard voices through the glass. Leslie. And someone else. "She's getting attention now," Leslie whispered. Pause. "I honestly thought she'd fold." Another pause. "If I have to, I'll move her into process work permanently." My chest tightened. Then she said the part that made me stop breathing for a second. "She isn't supposed to be visible." Visible. Like visibility belonged to management. Like being seen required permission. I walked away before they noticed me. Sat at my desk. Opened If I Disappear. Created a new section. Retaliation risk. Then added today's date. Because Leslie still thought I was harmless. And the safest place to stand is usually wherever people refuse to look. The envelope stayed in my drawer for 48 hours. Not because I was afraid. Because I understood consequences. Once evidence leaves your hands, it starts moving without you. Inside was everything. Audit logs, Slack screenshots, vendor payments, timeline notes, copies of overwritten records, the Zoom recording, and a printed org chart with little arrows connecting projects, approvals, and names that kept appearing where they shouldn't. Monday afternoon, I finally took the elevator to the 9th floor. Compliance. Quiet hallways. Soft carpet. The kind of place where everyone speaks like they're afraid of creating documentation accidentally. The receptionist looked up. "Can I help you?" I placed the envelope down carefully. "Just dropping off some materials. Time sensitive." She nodded and slid it into a tray labeled Priority Review. That was it. Months of watching. Weeks of documenting. Years of being ignored. Reduced to one envelope disappearing into a gray plastic bin. When I turned toward the elevators, the doors opened. And there was Leslie. "Of course." Her smile appeared automatically. "Audrey, didn't expect to see you up here." I adjusted my bag strap, just tying up loose ends. Something flickered across her face, only for a second. "Staying busy?" "Always." The elevator doors closed between us. For the first time in years, I felt lighter. 3 days later, the building changed. Not loudly, quietly. Calendar invites multiplied. HR started scheduling private meetings. Leadership canceled town halls. Slack messages got shorter. People stopped joking in channels. David stopped talking about innovation initiatives altogether. Mia left a protein bar on my desk. Attached note: "You were never the problem." Then ethics reached out. Short meeting. Simple questions. Timelines. Documentation. Clarifications. I answered everything calmly. Facts are easier when you've already organized them. After that, the office atmosphere shifted harder. People started asking for my input, including me in meetings, looping me into projects I used to hear about afterward. One intern even brought me coffee and whispered, "You always knew what was going on, didn't you?" I almost laughed. No, I was just paying attention. Leslie changed too. She stopped using nicknames, stopped forcing conversations, stopped talking about culture. Now everything was per policy and per process. Fear had replaced confidence. One Friday morning, she walked past my desk. No smile, no greeting, no performance, just silence. I looked at the small succulent she'd given me weeks earlier. Damage control. One leaf had turned yellow. I clipped it off and dropped it into the trash. Funny thing about invisibility. People think quiet means powerless. What they forget, quiet people hear everything. And eventually, they decide to be heard.